before we begin, let me make this clear. Although I am a rare Pokemon known as a straight furry, I will not be tolerating any anti-queer language in this video, or sexist ones for that matter. I love my gay bros, I love my queens, and I love two gay black men kissing. Any comments towards these people that is negative will be reported and deleted. Alright, now let's begin.
Why did you wait for the countdown? Did you want to see men kissing? You like men. You like kissing. You like men kissing.
Hey guys, it's me Terra, and today I want to talk about the UwU No Pwolotics crowd that does need to be addressed. And we'll also touch on why I think it needs to be addressed. No politics crowd have a tendency to say things like, oh, this is a fun hobby for escapism and chill times. This is my escape from politics, and although this is a fair thing to say, I myself used to say this, these folks seem to forget that we as a fandom no longer really have the luxury to be apolitical. Now, I also understand that by technicality, because the furry fandom is very much a majority queer space, technically the fandom has always been a bit political because queer people are always brought up in politics. Hence, it just ends up being political by default. But obviously this is different from that aspect. Kind of. Due to the very existence of queer folk, whom, is the majority of this fandom, being politicized, somehow people need to be reminded of this, it seems. Now, in fairness, right, there has always been a no politics desire, way before the current events, way before Trump. And back then, I would argue that we as a fandom could actually afford to be apolitical. A lot of you may have forgotten this, but back in the early 2000s, in a lot of Western countries, especially early 2010s, there was a growing trend towards wider acceptance of LGBTQ people. Things like more representation in media, which may not seem like that big of a deal right now, but back then, it was a serious change in the usual. Legalization of same-sex marriage in many countries that previously had never even considered it was also starting to take place. Anti-discrimination protections helped out quite a lot as well. And younger generations slowly became more and more educated and accepting of queer people in general. Now, I should also make this clear, it was not perfect, right? Don't take my words as the 2010s were the golden age for queer folk. No, it wasn't. There was still a lot of bad shit going on. It's just that compared to today, it was not as big of a thing. There was a much bigger trend of things getting better, unlike today. It was a period where it felt like acceptance was steadily improving, and conflicts regarding queerness were less intense in everyday life. As such, the furry fandom could afford to be apolitical, if they chose to do so. It was a completely viable option back then. After all, things are slowly getting better, so why bother being political in a fandom where you can just have fun instead? Unfortunately today, we no longer get that luxury of being apolitical because of the anti-queer action and environments that we are in, and we as a fandom are intimately tied to the LGBT community. A massive chunk of the fandom is queer. I was going to say majority, but I don't actually have the stats to confirm that, so I'll instead say a massive chunk. And even beyond the LGBTQ, right? Even if you, like me, aren't gay or bi, as furries, we are different in general, neurodivergent, non-traditional, and misfits. As such, we are all the target to be pointed at when these cunts need something to shift the blame to. As a result, whether we like it or not, we will be affected by this. Even if you're not queer, once they're gone, who do you think is gonna come next? That's gonna be you, because you're neurodivergent, or you're non-traditional, or simply put, like every single furry out there, a bit of a misfit, to varying degrees.
In Germany, they came first for the communists, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a trade unionist. Then they came for the Catholics. And I didn't speak up because I was a Protestant. Then they came for me. And by that time, nobody was left to speak up.
Another example of being affected by it, regardless of if you are a member of the queer community or not, is things like prices. See, the UwU No Politics crowd will also complain about prices fairly often, understandably so. But what they forget is that, where do you think that price increase is connected to? Tariffs. Importing fur for fursuits will be more expensive due to tariffs. As such, the fursuit makers have to increase their prices or go bankrupt. Oh, you want to go to a fur con? Yeah, that will also get affected due to rent costs skyrocketing. And so on and so on and so on. You get the point. Whether we like it or not, we will be affected by it. And this is where we need to talk about the difference between escapism and delusion. See, escapism is knowing that this is temporary. You're temporarily leaving the real world to have fun, which is a great thing. I love it myself. I do it myself. You should do it too. But if you bury your head in the sand, you escape and then think that it's a permanent solution, that is delusion. Because no, it's not a permanent cure. Now there's also the broken system argument, which is fair. I'll admit, it is a fair argument. Now, understandably, a lot of you that have watched the video this far will ask the question, well, what can we do? Let me simply remind you this. A tyrant does not need you to cheer for them in order to win. No, they don't need every single person to join their cause and wave their flags. What they do need is silence. They need people to be willing to look away, bend the knee, and stay out of their path while they climb to power. History has shown this time and time again. Hatred grows loud when people convince themselves that staying quiet is going to be a better choice than speaking up. If you want to learn how quietly and effectively a tyrant can gain power, study the rise of Mussolini. You will learn more about fascism and how it can slowly gain power than studying World War II Germany. Something that Americans need to learn, in my opinion. So no, you do not have to become some 24/7 hyper-political perfect activist. No, but do not become silent when it matters most, because that is how a small problem becomes a big one. Refusing to stay quiet and doing your thing without bending the knee to whatever clock-eyed imbecile is trying to stop you is very much a viable way of resistance.
Well, fuck you.
It's not as flashy as some other options, sure, but it is still very much a form of resistance. So honestly, keep doing what you love and never stay quiet. Now I was going to also add a part about the keep berries weird aspect of this discussion. However, that does deserve its own video, dedicated video, so I'm gonna do that instead, rather than a short and oversimplified version of it for this video. So never bend the knee, never kneel before the tyrant. Be the boy kisser that you know you want to be. You know those boys right there that are waiting to be kissed by you? Go ahead, do it. Be the boy kisser you know you were meant to be. Okay, that was funnier in my head when I said it, but now that I say it out loud, it is not funny. Fuck. And that's going to be about it for today. Thank you very much for watching. And I will see you again later some other time. Goodbye.
Where's the men kissing? Where's the...